Great.
So yeah, that's what I think that's a good setup the way you have it there for that invoice. Um,
I'll
do you
just
want to
make
bring
them
the
all.
contract bring the contract with you tomorrow if you could?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. He wanted to meet today, but I was like, I haven't even looked at it. So, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, bring it tomorrow. We'll review that contract and
Hmm.
I'll bring my pencil. We can mark it up too if we need.
Hmm. Yes. I will definitely do that. Cool.
Very. All right. Um, I'm going to I'm going to quickly chat a little bit about the resuming of quantitative easing because the government kind of has to do that. They are facing a massive debt crisis. It's actually makes the 2008 crisis look like a walk in the park. And quantitative easing is that process of injecting more liquidity into the markets. So they're easing the pressure on the currency by just adding some more, by printing some more. Well, now they're in a situation where that's a very bad practice because the more you do it, the more you have to do it, right? Because every time you print something, you owe the Federal Reserve that 6% per year. So it's not a good strategy, but it gets to be a point where it's the only way out. And the United States of America, is at that point where they are having to use quantitative easing. They're having to print simply because if they don't, then the crisis really occurs. Before it'd be like, oh, we're creating the crisis if we print. But there's a crossover point, that tipping point, so to speak, where now, in order to avoid the crisis, they have to print. So that means that we're going to be flipping straight into hyperinflation here in the next 18 to 24 months. And like it's going to accelerate between here and there before it actually collapses. So the stress that people are feeling financially, it's only going to increase, and it's going to be like a 1 to 2 year process to tighten people and get them to really bitch and complain and beg the government for a solution, which will be, of course, a new currency under digital IDs. So the print, it better continue. If it doesn't, then we're here, and the collapse is imminent. It's going to drop out of the markets are just going to drop out of the sky. People are going to lose billions. The market will probably liquidate trillions, and that's the story. That's where we're headed. So either they put that off by quantitative easing, which is the worst thing you could possibly do to a currency, or it's kind of like a, a coming to truth moment. Do you take responsibility for all your terrible financial policies? Do you take responsibility for that and stop printing money? It's, it's like cognitive dissonance, but that's the state that's what the state is right now, the state of the markets. So I found that to be very fascinating, and that's really all I wanted to share for the time being. We are seeing in the markets, we are seeing a big jump right now in both Bitcoin. We talked about it a little bit yesterday at Market Analysis, but Bitcoin and Ethereum have made a pretty good jump over the last week, and so we're that could very well provide us with the support needed to go up. However, the technical analysis on the daily chart still shows that we have a ways to go. I'm going to go ahead and open up. I'm going to go ahead and open up this here and share the screen. Dun, da, da, da. So I'm going to go to Bitcoin here. As we can see, like we had a nice big jump. We were showing a lot of resistance here. This area here was providing a lot of resistance in the past. And after this dip down, remember how this long time trend was continuing on? This has been going on for years, this trend. We had the 24 election and then we dipped down below, made a big test against that. Well, we have a good leg up now. And this line provided the support for this leg up that we've experienced over the last few days. So 4 or 5 days. April 22nd, actually 21st. So yeah, a week. This jump in price is now showing resistance underneath the next point. This is the next pivot point before we come up to that all-time high. So as a result, here, it would make sense for the price to come back down and test this resistance for support, which would also coincide with this line here. So over the next little while, we might see something along the, it switches the button, this one here. We might see something like this, where it comes down and then bounces up. We won't really know until we see whether or not this resistance keeps the price down. If we jump up above this, and even maybe halfway up to the all-time high, I would then expect this to provide the support. So Bitcoin right now is at a very crucial point in its price action, and the same kind of thing is occurring here with Ethereum. The only difference is that with Ethereum, there was a major bearish drop ever since December. And after election here, when things looked great. But then after December, it just tanked. Like it dropped, what was it, 50%, I think. Yeah, 54%, all the way down, like as high as 65% drop, right? So this big drop was significantly different from how Bitcoin reacted to the last few months. But this price action is mirroring Bitcoin. And in the past, we haven't seen the same mirroring occur. In fact, the trend has been very much a drop. So this happening with the same frequency, so be it, as it were, with the Ethereum prices showing the same type of price action that we're seeing in Bitcoin, that is an indicative of a what we call that. There's cohesion between Bitcoin and altcoins. People don't go into Ethereum just to hold Ethereum. They're looking at getting into the altcoins. And so altcoin, the word on the street is altcoin season is here. You know, when we take a look at the algorithm, we can see that this trend has been bearish for all this time. And then we switched to a green trend here. So headed upwards, we need to get above this similar to Bitcoin. We're at a point of resistance. But if we can get up above this line here, we know that we've got what it takes to find this trend line here and test that one out. So the kind of price action we may see would be along this line here, where we see a little bit of resistance here, going down, finding some support here, and then reaching that line. That's the kind of price action we would see if Ethereum is recovering. If it's not recovering yet, then we'll likely see this point provide enough resistance that we end up headed back down and then possibly retesting this for support. So either way, my positions are in place, especially when it comes to ADA. I've got my positions here. You can see that this is kind of the upper range here. This is that level we got to get above in order for me to know, okay, yeah, now we've got a bearish trend or a bullish trend. Right now, technically still bullish because this high here, there's the button, this high here is not higher than this high here. So that's the level. This is the level we need to hit, that fifth resistance. We get above that, then I know, all right, perfect. Now we're headed up to this top line here, I think. Until then, we wait. The positions are in ready to go. I'm dollar cost averaging all the way down to 50 cents. At this level here, I've got maxed out. So if it comes down here, my profitability coming back is going to be 2 times. So the risk that I have here will pay me double when we come back to this point. That's how I currently have this set up. So as it goes down, I'll be buying more positions to dollar cost average as low as 50 cents because that's the strong support that we have right now. So no matter what, if it goes up, I'm already long on this one right now, so I will be making money. But if it goes down and works against me, I'll be making even more. And that's the strategy in a nutshell. Any questions? For those of you tuning in online, feel free to leave a comment. I can see these comments come into the dashboard here and I can respond, YouTube or X. There's a chart that you'd like me to check out, let me know. Update for this week is a wonderful, down to earth, salt of the earth couple that have a greenhouse near Edmonton. And since 2020, they've been in business for a long time, decades. What did he say he got started? Can't remember. It's like before 2010 for sure. But working his land, growing food. It's all he's ever done. And he's lived there for 50, well, his whole life. He was born there. And his sons want to take on the land and continue the greenhouse. And what they've done is, they've not only do they bring their wares to market, they also have a cafe right on their property. Well, they've been in business for a long time, having no problems, with anything, like because you know how food inspectors are. Sometimes they get pretty picky. But it was after COVID when, of course, they were going through. People were scared. There was that period of time where people were scared that there were going to be food shortages, and they rose to the occasion and told their community, "Hey, we've got lots of food. Come on down here." So that's what happened. They were doing well. Staying open, they were harassed by Alberta Health Services, and their eventually Alberta Health Services got the county to be involved in harassing these these landowners. Well, they ended up complying whenever they possibly could so that they could stay in business, not knowing any different. They spent tens of thousands of dollars on upgrades that they didn't have to spend money doing. They didn't have to upgrade anything. The even one of the upgrades that they said that they had to do this greenhouse, they had to get fire retardant plastic. So there's no such thing. It doesn't exist. And so knowing this, they asked point blank, they asked the county, is this going to be a precedent for all greenhouses? And they said, no, we're just picking on you. So this is the treatment that that the state gives people who exercise their own rights over their property. As a result, they have been given court orders. In fact, the last court order that they got, because they can't find, because it doesn't exist, fire retardant plastic for their greenhouses, because they can't find it. They are facing they have right now. There's a court order for them to get that done or have their place destroyed. They will come in with a demolition team to level all of the buildings, not just the greenhouses, everything. So the abuse that our government continues to perpetuate against the individual people, it's enough's enough. And it's really encouraging to see how willing they are to try new things, to experiment with new approaches, and they're super open-minded, and they know that they are such an integral part of community building, and they are committed to make it happen. And it's so good to meet with them, to see history literally be made within this little tiny wood structure. Like it looks like a log cabin cafe that maybe is like 400 square feet. It's just great, and they're busy. They're busy all the time.
How far away are they out from Edmonton?
You know where the Highway 43 junction is?
Hmm.
Highway 4316. You just take 16, and it's like the second approach, and you'll see their properties big right on the side of the highway. And it's kind of kitty corner to that Chevron that just opened up.
And going which direction? Sorry.
Oh, they are on the road that would be, well, 43 eastbound.
Sorry,
Not even
north
yeah,
of
they're
Edmonton.
north of Edmonton.
Edmonton.
No, like, so Highway 16, take the
Yeah.
exit 43.
No idea where that is. Sorry.
Oh, exit 43 to go to Gun,
Okay.
Onaway,
Okay.
Whitecourt,
Yeah.
Grand Prairie.
Yeah.
You can go up there, up north there.
Yeah. Now I know. Yeah.
So yeah, right by that overpass, maybe 2 kilometers away from there is where their land is.
Oh, okay. I know it's called M. Something starts with an M.
Yep,
Okay.
Mojo's.
Yeah.
Yep, and they started the that cowboy church,
Mm-hmm.
or I don't know if they started it, but they had that as well, and they were getting harassed um, by the health authorities for hosting church.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it was wonderful, such a wonderful experience to sit with them and recognize their resolve to stay there. They're traumatized though. You can tell they're both of them. They're traumatized from the last 4 years, 5 years of harassment and assault from their government.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the same as the ranch in Wildwood.
Which,
So,
oh
I
yeah,
mean,
that's right. Yep.
right? Like
Yep.
the taxes are outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're this, 1,000 1 month 1 year, and then they're like 5 or 6 the next. So it's like,
Yep.
where'd that come from?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's really getting all these businesses out of out of the corporation
Yep.
and into the freedom that we all should actually have.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Yep. Yeah, and it is
Well,
it is a mindset. They were a little overwhelmed. You know how people get, Audrey. And I kind of needed you there
right.
to
I'm like, that's a little much, Paul. Slow down.
yeah. Yeah. But at the same time, I was able to recognize when they were saturated and they were just like, oh, overwhelmed at everything. So then I pulled back considerably and I just left that simmer. And then we talked about other stuff
Mhm.
going on. And yeah, so, but I mean, at the same time, just to see the buzz in that room, even though there was only five of us in there, that was intense.
Mhm.
It was really good to see their dedication.
Mhm.
And
I
they
think I
even
need to
had
start training Paul to do that because you're not going to be able to do it all by yourself.
no, no,
I
I
need to
won't
start
be able to.
training.
Well, then honestly, I have no problem doing that every other week after market. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm. Do training.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. That's all I got today.
Cool. Good. I gotta get outside anyway and get my stuff
I
done.
know, right? Well, and I don't know what it is there, but it's 24 here.
I haven't looked at when I went out. It was 15 already. So.
Yep.
Hmm.
24. Well, it's not 24 right now, but it's a high of 24 today. So
Um.
I'm definitely going to get out there.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do, Paul, is I can't print it because my printers needs ink.
Send me what you need printed. I'll bring it because I'm bringing a bunch of printing tomorrow.
Yeah. Um. That's what I'm doing right now. That's what I was gonna say. Can you bring it? Bring
Oh
a
yeah,
couple of
yeah,
copies that way. That way, I can make a mess of it.
yep.
Okay, just let me know if you got it because I just sent it.
Perfect. Thank you, thank you.
No, thank you. Appreciate it. Cool. Because that's what we're doing with that. Like I've got a caregiving, just for anybody out there, I've got a caregiving agreement that I'm making up with a family that's in the corporation world, very business minded corporation world, Canada corporation world. And I
Yep,
want to stay out of the corporation world. So we're having to figure out how we can work that. That's kind of what we're doing tomorrow a bit. So,
yeah. Awesome, awesome. And I'm also bringing aftermarket. I'm meeting up with Sullivan again,
incoming voice
and
call 17805. Okay. Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna be we're gonna be setting up the contract between the market and him. So
Oh,
that's yep. And then that way we've got a private agreement selling meat for him.
awesome.
Yeah.
But I do have to run. I'm,
Okay,
I'm
sounds good.
supposed to be in a meeting and I'm late.
Okay, we'll
But
see
this
you
is good.
later.
Okay, take care.
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.